Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a Pokemon that is going to be coming to Pokemon Go. If you can read the title, you most likely know already what Pokemon is going to be. But Niantic definitely messed up a little bit. We have some leaks here, like some hints towards what is coming next. We're going to have one picture here with some big footstep, of course. We know, of course, it's going to be the Dynamax feature. But the second confidential picture here from Niantic is going to be a little bit more telling. We see a silhouette of a Pokemon being, Dynamax here at this point. That is going to be looking very interesting. I'll, of course, take a look at the Pokemon real quick now as well. There's very likely going to be, of course, we cannot guarantee it, say that, but yeah, definitely Dynamax is coming for very likely next season, start of next season. I would imagine it's going to go live very likely, like literally on the first of the next season. Anyway. Niantic messed up a little bit. They changed basically the global GoFest ticket, which is of course not active anymore, to actually an interesting starting date that's going to be in November. I don't know if this is going to be actually the thing that is going to be coming out there, but it's going to be an encounter with Toxtricity. The other part of this event ticket here, you can kind of completely neglect. This is going to be still part from the global GoFest ticket, but the fact that they decided to put encounter with Toxtricity into an event ticket that's apparently running in November is going to be quite interesting, as especially with that picture that we just saw, and with something different that is also found in the code, which is the Toxel mask. It seems very likely they're going to get Toxel very soon in the game. Could see, by the way, that this date change here as well was just like a random date change. It does not seem like it's really looking accurate here, with like especially the second time here. So it might be even for like a very close event. But yeah, very likely we're gonna get Toxel and Toxtricity into Pokemon Go very, very soon. And so today we're gonna take a look at what they're going to be able to do. Also, those are going to be the Pokemon here right now. We're going to have Toxel being an electric and poison type Pokemon. Very unique. Like, honestly, I don't think there is currently a different electric and poison type Pokemon. I could be wrong, but this is definitely a very unique form. And there's also something very unique, which I don't know how they're going to do it in Pokemon Go, which might give this Pokemon, or like Niantic, generally speaking, some trouble. We're going to see it here also with Toxtricity. This is going to be the evolved form for it, which is going to very likely be coming into Pokemon Go very, very soon. There are going to be two forms of it. Those two forms having, like, I think different abilities and I think a different move as well. But basically, to evolve those Pokemon into those forms, you're going to have different kind of natures that you need. And natures are currently not part of Pokemon Go. So, I'm kind of curious on how Niantic is going to solve this issue of trying to evolve Toxtricity. Can you not evolve it maybe for the beginning until they actually added something like natures into the game? I don't know, but natures would be definitely quite impactful. If you don't know what natures are, basically what happens here is that a Pokemon has like certain stats, of course, and a nature kind of determines if like a stat gets lowered or gets like a little bit of a buff. So for example, if you have the adamant nature here, adamant is going to allow you to have a little bit more attack, but less special attack. And this is kind of how those work. I think it's like a 20% buff / nerf onto one certain stat. There are some natures as well that don't change the stats at all, but basically those are very important in competitive play usually, but currently they are not part of Pokemon Go, but they are part of the evolution of it. One more thing as well is that Toxtricity is also an interesting choice because this Pokemon has a special Gigantamax form as well, which is going to have like then a signature move, but it's going to be basically a Pokemon that is not just getting bigger, but also completely changes kind of looks of itself basically when it Gigantamaxes. And so it's not just like a Dynamax Pokemon. So it's an odd choice for basically using this as a first Pokemon, or like an interesting choice, because it's very likely that maybe the Toxtricity that we can encounter through that ticket might be the one that can go and Gigantamax, which would be kind of interesting as well. What does Toxtricity mean for PvP though? Let's find out here real quick as well. This Pokemon is actually quite interesting. You have those two different forms currently. They're the exact same in the game. There's no difference between them. The moveset is the same. We can just take a look at the standard Toxtricity here, which I guess is just like both together because they're both exactly the same, other than of course the looks of it. But we're going to have here the Foul Smooth option of Acid, horrible but actually good for raids, the Poison Jab, which is very solid, and Spark, which is not good anymore outside of Pokemon like Lantern. So Poison Jab it is for sure as a Foul Smooth, and then we're going to take a look at the charge moves currently recommended from PvPoke as for whatever reason Discharge and Wild Charge, which I don't think is going to be the best moveset that this Pokemon can run. You can decide basically either of the other two charge moves over Discharge in my opinion. Acid Spray makes a lot of sense to drop the opponent's defense, but especially with the smaller switch time there, like of only 50 seconds nowadays, it might be more in your interest to go for Power Punch, which is a cheaper move, but also going to allow you to buff your own attack. And so you don't have to swap out eventually or anything like this. You can just stay in there, keep your attack, and be happy with it. Of course, in a meta where Mudslap got buffed especially, you might think that this Pokemon has no option at all, especially with a very, very low stats there total. But actually, this Pokemon is going to be a meta threat. Look at this, 24 wins and 9 losses, looking insane for the new season. Really hope that this Pokemon is going to, also show us a little bit more of their potential when it's going to be released, or like they're going to be released next season. But if you're going to take a look at the 2-shit scenario, it's still going to be very positive. This Pokemon has a lot of play, especially in the Open Great League. If we're going to take a look here at the different kind of forms of it as well, we're going to have here the Wild Charge Power Punch, we're going to have Wild Charge and Acid, and the PU Poke moveset of Wild Charge and Discharge. We're going to see some interesting differences here, where Toxtricity definitely going to benefit from having either the Acid Spray or the Power Punch. Of course, Power Punch, in my opinion, is going to be just a better move, especially as a bait as well. Moving on now to the Ultra League. Ultra League, this Pokemon is also still viable, as you're going to see here. We're going to see also that we're going to need a few XL Candy to power it up. I'm not all the way, but up to level 42. So I think it's like 40 XL Candy for this Pokemon, which I feel like is kind of reasonable. You're most likely going to get this when you have like a good IV variant for it anyway. So this Pokemon definitely going to have some options as well in the Ultra League. And as you're going to see here real quick as well, this Pokemon here going to have great matchups, 20 wins, 10 losses for the Open Ultra League for the upcoming season. But of course, if you don't want to take a look at the losses, Pokemon like Giratina gonna completely hardware you, Gasbran going to be completely a loss for you as well. So basically with this Pokemon, you have a great typing generally speaking, but there are going to be some matchups where you have like no chance of winning, and that's fine, because like this thing is not going to be like supposed to be like the craziest tank or anything like this. Pokemon is to be just a little bit of a fun Pokemon to run, and I think it's going to be definitely very fitting for this. And we're going to take a look here as well at the team builder matchup for this thing. We will see very soon that this is going to be able to beat nearly everything, which is quite ridiculous. Of course, again, as said before, Gastrodon as well as the Giratina are going to be matchups that you completely lose hard because you have nothing to hit them with. But that's fine. Honestly, this Pokemon is just looking like a lot of fun, and that's all we kind of want from it. So let me know in the comment section, do you think this is actually going to be Toxel? I think it is going to be Toxel, to be fair, but we don't really know yet. Are you excited for the Dynamax feature? I'm kind of curious if it's going to be even something that is viable for PvP. I know a lot of people are like making fun even of like, or he tries to hype up this feature, even though it's very like, that has nothing to do with PvP. I really hope that we're gonna see like some kind of game mode with it, where we had that already kind of similar with the Mega Master League that we had already for the other gimmick that we have already in Pokemon Go. It would be very cool to see like those Pokemon Gigantamax or Dynamax for the Go Battle League, but I have also no idea about how those crazy strong moves that they're gonna get are gonna work. Like, I don't know, like it's going to be definitely an interesting one here. But yeah, again, Niantic was able to mess up something again, showcase us as well that Toxtricity is very likely going to come into Pokemon Go, especially here through a special research. And yeah, this is going to be basically it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like. Also, one fun fact though, Toxel is, by the way, one baby Pokemon. Like, baby Pokemon we had already introduced before, but this is basically the newest one after Generation 4. This is the only one that came at this one as well. And honestly, it's one of my favorite Pokemon. It's basically my favorite Pokemon from Generation 8. What is your favorite Pokemon from Generation 8? As you're going to very likely have a big release for this generation as well. Definitely makes all a little bit more sense now as well, where Niantic skipped Generation 8 and put Generation 9 in first. And now we're gonna get all of those Pokemon and all the Gigantamax and Dynamax. I'm kind of excited for kind of the future of Pokemon Go now, especially also PvP, of course. We have a lot of good content towards that already on the channel. But yeah, let's continue it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.